Spring has sprung in the Go Battle League. I knew I wanted to use Tentacruel in the Spring Cup, but dang, these battles were insane. So let's jump into the battles. All right, we're gonna be starting off this video with a pretty insane battle. So I have great alignment here in the very beginning, right? But I stay in against this Venusaur because I want to try to go for the Scald, thinking, oh, they're not gonna shield. And well, yeah, of course they don't. So I'm going for that farm down, and I decide I'm going to shield the Frenzy, and I decide to switch in Trevenant to tank the second Frenzy because I knew they had two loaded there. So I get a little bit of a farm down. In comes the Galarian Wheezing, and right here, I figured, you know, they have to know I could potentially throw a Shadow Ball here, so I go for the bait move. And whoa, they actually make a great decision, and they do not commit a shield. So already right now, this is looking kind of bad for me because they have Ferrothorn now. It only looks bad because they brought in Ferrothorn, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do here? Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna let the first Power Whip go through because I know if I shield, it's just game over. And I decided to go for the Acid Spray, and I bring in Shadow Feraligatr. So I tried running this a little bit in the Great League, maybe like 1 or 2 sets, but in this format so far, this Pokemon as a closer on this particular team I've been running, maybe there's a better way to support it, but dang, this thing was actually kind of popping off in this format. So I can actually take a brutal swing here, and I'm able to get enough energy to get double Hydro, and I can just win the match now because they already knew this too. I guess they switched out thinking I would throw the Hydro and they would catch it, and then they could win with Ferrothorn, but I just was able to pull that off finally in the end, which was kind of crazy. A little bit of cat and mouse there. But in this next match, we do get a Hisuian Electrode against our Tentacruel, and I'm thinking this is a pretty good matchup. I mean, I was surprised. I guess I should have just thrown Acid Spray because the way they played, I could have actually removed the Electrode before it got off the second move, but it's quite alright. I mean, I'm going to stay in with Tentacruel at this point, try to get off as much damage off on this Lantern. I went for Acid Spray first just because I already knew I wasn't going to switch out, so I want to try to give myself a situation where Trevenant can build up some energy. And thankfully that is the case here. No shields down. So, I mean, no shields, they're all down. I don't know what I was saying there. Going for a farm down, and at this point I have such like abundance of energy, and fortunately they just have Wish Cash in the back. It was pretty much game regardless at this point. I mean, we still have a Feraligatr, we didn't even have to reveal it, so GG's to my opponent. I just got off work, it's Friday night, and I'm out here like right at midnight trying to record this. I've been trying to be better about posting content on YouTube, so if you're watching this, please consider subscribing, liking the video. It does help my content out a lot here on the platform. But yeah, we get a nice matchup here against Mawile. We don't actually have to really do anything. Mawile doesn't really have any tools to really hit Tentacruel, and they tend to be running Fire Fang in this format for the Ferrothorns and grass types. But yeah, in comes Lantern, and we do have Trevenant to help deal with Lantern. And if you've noticed the way my team is structured, it's an ABA line. I wanted to try something a little bit different in this format because ABB is definitely a good structure for a team, but I feel like sometimes it's good to break the mold and kind of trick your opponents in the process, right? You just have to play ABA teams a little bit different. And you'll kind of see that in some of these sets because, I mean, in a lot of these battles, honestly, that's why I wanted to share this. I don't really switch out when I lose the lead. I just kind of let Tentacruel do as much damage as it can. And yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of Lantern leads, but you'll see how I like to play around them. So at this point, I do have shield advantage against Empoleon. And having Shadow Claw, pretty much I just have to get double. I don't even really need to throw the Hydro Cannons at this point. Because of Shadow Claw, I'm able to just farm down, which is actually really nice. So yeah, let's get into this next match. So this person has a Hisuian Electrode lead, and they do play it a little more aggressive. It's pretty clear they're going for the wild charge here. They're not even trying to trick me. So I just decided to go for an acid spray right away here, and they do end up committing the shield and switching out instantly, but they end up switching into Ninetales, and they do seem to be running Powder Snow with Psyshock, Weather Ball. Yeah, I think they could. I think Psyshock makes the most sense just because there are poison types running around this format. But yeah, because I got that attack drop, I knew I could even take a Psyshock there, just barely, and that puts me in a position where I still win switch, and I do have Trevenant to eat a move from Hisuian Electrode. I'm not particularly afraid. They're just going to drop a Wild Charge here and switch out, which makes sense. But I'm going to throw a Shadow Ball off onto Weezing before I switch out. It's not... Actually, I don't even switch out, I think. Oh, wait, no. I just commit the shield and farm down. And I go for a Seed Bomb into the Electrode. Yeah, it didn't really matter. I mean, even if they threw a Wild Charge, I mean, I can Shadow Claw down with Feraligatr. So yeah, another win in the bag. And next battle we get a Pelipper lead, which is really good. All the Pelipers I've played so far, they haven't really tried to bait against Tentacruel. It's one of the situations where if you do get the shield, yes, obviously that's going to be great, but if you do not predict the shield correctly, you're going to get punished really hard against Tentacruel. And I just commit the shield. They end up switching out because I usually just go for Scalds most of the time with Tentacruel, even in unfavorable matchups. Because sometimes getting that attack drop can actually just create a win con. It's kind of insane. Like, Scald is... Oh my gosh. Like, as much as I like using it, it's one of those things that when I'm facing it too and they get a lot of attack drops, it can really just swing the entire match. But yeah, pretty much one of the reasons why I wanted to run Tentacruel was because the #1 ranked Pokemon in this format is Weezing, and I looked at the top Pokemon in general, and like, obviously there's some Steel types, but I've played so much Tentacruel in Great League in general that I was confident that even what I was looking at, like, there's been worse, you know? This is actually probably a good format for Tentacruel to shine in, or at least, like, be a good support Pokemon on your team, because the Acid Spray bait, or even just having Acid Spray, honestly, in the lost scenarios is pretty clutch. But yeah, we're able to kind of just barely get this Seed Bomb off here, and yeah, because of that, we can just get a Shadow Claw off with the Feraligatr. So that's a 5-0 set, which I thought was like insane, especially because that first match, I was confident I lost that by the way it played out. When I didn't throw the Shadow Ball, I was like, I'm going to lose this. And somehow I just barely was able to pull that off. But so here we got a Lantern lead. I was talking about this. So I'm just going to go straight Scald. That's kind of like what I like to do here. Like I said, I'm not going to switch out on a bad lead because there's like if I switch to Trevenant, I'm just going to get countered and lose harder. So it's better for me to just throw the Scald, hope I get an attack drop. If I don't, I'm just not going to shield. At times, getting the attack drop can actually allow me to get to another move potentially. Yeah, but we'll pay more attention here. So I want to build up some extra energy just to have for whatever comes in. They do end up having Weezing, and I was a little paranoid for my last encounter. They actually make a good call and they do shield the Shadow Ball. I insta-swap into the Feraligatr, trying to get a little bit of energy situation going on here, and they end up switching in Seismitoad, which fortunately for us is a great backline for us to catch up with energy and kind of punish our opponent, because now at this point we can just commit the shield and farm down Seismitoad and have a move locked and ready for Weezing. And I feel like Weezing just barely lives this, but it doesn't really matter because between one of my Pokemon I have left are going to Shadow Claw down, and it's going to be a GG. Shout out to Gabe, by the way. I saw your name, bro, and I knew this was going to be a tough match. And when I saw the Mawile, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get you. But you actually played this Shadow Mawile really impressive, I will say. And I think this is because you know how to play against this lead. The Shadow variant was actually dealing so much damage here, and you might, like, maybe you shielded here because you know me, or, you know, I don't know. you just knew to shield both of these. I don't really bait like that. And yeah, you made a great call. I end up switching into my Feraligatr. I just wanted to say, dude, like between the Power Punch and Fire Fang, I was like, holy crap, this Shadow Mawile was insane. But I wanted to get like a little bit of energy lead on Feraligatr. I honestly had no idea what could have been the back. And it's a Shadow Celio, which is pretty scary for my team. Fortunately for me, I'm in this unique scenario where the Hydros honestly hit pretty hard for a neutral move, and I'm able to force Gabe to go for the Body Slam because I do resist the Powder Snows. In the back line, he has the Roserade, which, even though this is Weather Ball, I'm going to commit the shield because the way I was looking at this was I can actually deal some significant damage with the Scald even though it's resisted, and I was going to insta-swap in the Trevenant. And from there, it was just a matter of finishing up the match. So GG's, bro, for real. Like, that team was, like, no joke to mess around with. Even though I had, like, some, like, lead advantage, you put on some impressive, like, damage there with Mawile. In this match, I was, like, not sure what was going on. Am I, like, losing my mind? Like, he's throwing Sludge Bombs at me. Like, maybe he doesn't have... Maybe this is a single move being in the store, but I was like, oh, this guy is just like, he's really trying to mess with me. Like, I don't know. I just assumed like maybe this guy thought like, I don't know. Who knows what I was thinking and this guy was thinking. But he's throwing Sludge Bombs. I shielded them, scared out of my life, but apparently I had nothing to fear. And in comes Blossom, which, yeah, honestly, this team is kind of wild. So maybe, I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. Like, but I'm kind of happy with how the way it played out, I suppose. I go for the Shadow Ball here and the ball lost. I mean, it's just GG. I was kind of scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa, this team is kind of bad for me. Like, that could have been really bad, realistically, for me. Anyways, next battle, we get Shadow Swampert lead. Wow. This is scary, but I was like, maybe run Sludge Wave. I don't know. I was thinking maybe run Sludge Wave in this format, not Earthquake, because of all the grass types. So I was like, I'm not even gonna shield. And that was a good call. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm still not gonna shield. But then I was like, wait, I'm gonna get farmed down now. But then I was like, you know, I'll bring Trevenant, that's quite okay. And yeah, I mean, Hydro is still gonna kind of hurt. So I didn't really want to risk getting hit by something that I didn't really want to be hit with. And yeah, I was okay with committing that shield. I throw the Seed Bomb, and in comes Lapras. So right here, this is honestly crazy. If they did it, okay, so they don't shield this Ice Beam, and it's actually game-changing because now I can actually double Seed Bomb with Trevenant into the Lapras, and they do go for Ice Beam here too, which is actually kind of crazy. I got really lucky with that call. Yeah, this is very nuts. I was just like barely able to get to double Seed Bomb and win. That was so fast the way it played out when I was actually playing that match that I'm kind of shocked. I was like even surprised. I was like, oh, yeah, go me. Anyways, we got another match here. We got Empoleon. So Empoleon's running Steel Wing these days, and yeah, honestly, the only real move we have to worry about is Drill Peck, and it's not like crazy oppressive against us. If we can attack drop, it does kind of put us in a very unique scenario where we can kind of flip the match. I mean, we're gonna have to commit some shields, but yeah, it's like interesting how this match can sometimes play out depending. So I do end up being the attack drop here, and I'm just gonna let this second move go through. It is another Hydro, which I thought was interesting. They decided to bring in Slowbro to confusion me down, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna actually try to destroy you now for doing that. You hurt my Tentacruel. I'm really upset. No, honestly, I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me. So I bring in Trevenant, and fortunately for me, I do actually, again, shield the right move. But it wouldn't have really mattered either. Like, I just kind of built up the energy, made sure I had some left over, and from here it's just like I throw the Hydro into the low and Ninetales, and yeah, I can pretty much farm down Empoleon and go for another Hydro into Ninetales, and that's game. So yeah, beautiful work of art. Is that the 5-0? It is. Okay, what do you know? Two 5-0s, where'd those come out of? Anyways, I really appreciate you checking out my video. Again, I said, please comment, subscribe, like. It helps my content out. Let me know how you're enjoying your battles so far in the Spring Cup. And with that being said, the Sass Squad is getting stronger each and every day. You have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in. And I'll catch you in the next one. If you want to check out more Go Battle League content from me, consider watching this video right here or this video right here.